greetings. This is Dr. Ellie Zarabian again, talking to you from Los Angeles, California, addressing my friends in Pakistan. And just to give you an update, I officially reached 5,000 friends today. And so, unfortunately, I cannot accept any more friendship requests, but I do continue to welcome the import of comments and the sharing of information. And over time, what I want to do is to share some of your comments and concerns and your requests for help, and talk about it through this medium, so that other people who are tapping into Facebook and come across these videos can hear what's happening over there and some of the discussions that we are having, and of course they can join in as well. So that's to my friends here in the United States and elsewhere in the world. Two of the most compelling discussions that started happening online was with two friends who contacted me and shared some of what's happening for them. And I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for me to share their story, but also to give some feedback from a perspective of a spiritually oriented psychologist, and also based on the information that I'm getting. I think if I share with you some of the contents of what I'm writing about, which is essentially talking about dealing with conflict and sometimes problems that people are faced with that seem on the surface actually insurmountable difficulties, and how over time with some diligent work these problems shift and conflicts are resolved. I'll share with you an application of what these difficulties are, and perhaps it's food for some thought. So one of the friends who reached out to me, his difficulty at this time is that he said he's a young man living in northern Pakistan in a rural area where there is not much happening in terms of job opportunities or the ability to go to school. He said it took him about 4 hours just to be able to connect, get online, and to send that email to me. And so it's extremely difficult, even some of the most basic things that we take for granted here in the United States, which is just turning on our computer and being connected with the rest of the world. There are parts of the world where people can't do that. They don't readily have access to internet. And so his dilemma is that he wants to go to school. He wants to go and get higher education, but he has no access to schools, and he's trying to apply for scholarship. And he just posed that problem, that that's what he's dealing with right now. And of course, in my naivete, I said, well, you know, there are schools that you can tap into online. I attended such a school, and you can just get your degree behind the computer. And of course, he wrote back saying that's not how it works, and you know, it took me 4 hours just to be able to get online to send you this message. The other friend who contacted me talked about the situation with the children. He works for a youth organization, and primarily his focus is on imprisoned and incarcerated youth who are being severely mistreated and abused in the prison system. And he was saying that most of these children come from very poor homes where from a very young age their parents send them out into the streets to become beggars and thieves so they can provide for the family, and then when they're caught they're thrown in jail, and they have a horrible condition there. And he was asking me for help and any suggestions that I would have. And so I came up with some suggestions, and it didn't go very far. And of course, rightly so, because again, there's these often insurmountable reasons that we have in life as to A, B, C, D, E, why things aren't working out for us and why things aren't happening. And often these reasons are externally oriented, because it's my community, because it's my family, because I don't have money, because I don't have the resources, and so forth. And we all do that. We all have these belief systems that say, you know, I can't be in a place where I want to be in life because of these limitations, and let me list them for you. And so part of the work that I do with individuals and have been doing for the past 20 years is a part of the liberation work. And liberation psychology is essentially addressing these limited thoughts starting from within the self. And so when we address these limited thoughts and we resolve these limitations internally, then our external reality changes accordingly. And I have many, many examples that I give in the book of individuals who came in with, again, problems similar to what I just said about these two individuals, who really felt that there was no solution. And over time, they came to a different place. And that really begins with understanding the thinking behind these limited thoughts. And I address that in the first chapter, which is the myth of biography. And the myth of biography is that we create these limitations in life based on a faulty premise that comes from the biography that we've been given. So, for example, because I'm a woman, I can't do such and such in life. Because I don't have enough money, I can't do such and such in life. And when we adhere to these belief systems, then that becomes our reality. Because I believe this, therefore, my reality will show that. Of course, I'm not diminishing the magnitude of some of these problems. You know, the fact that this young man has no access to education, or this other gentleman who says, I want to help the children, but I can't, I have no resources. There is, of course, truth to that. However, what I want to also pose to you is that there is a way to start addressing these problems, but in a different way. I believe it was Albert Einstein who said, you can't solve a problem at the level of the problem. And so essentially what we have to do is to change our framework for dealing with a problem. And so in this scenario, with the young man who has access to no education and internet, the belief system is that he's not going to get far in life, that he's doomed and there's not much to do. Whereas, in fact, because of his desire to connect and to share this with someone else, he was somehow able to connect with this woman halfway across the world who heard his concern and is now putting it on the internet and having 5,000 other people perhaps view this. And within a day or so, his problem is no longer just limited to him. It's actually being heard by many, many, many people. And of course, naturally, that's going to impact or create a shift in his life, knowing that by just reaching out, by connecting, by sharing his story, and others hearing his story, a shift has taken place. So that's an act that's been done from inside out. Nothing on the outside is different. He's still in the same place.